Hello, my name is Bebop. We are on the eve of New World Aeternum. Right now you might be downloading the game, waiting to get on with your friends. I hope all the people that are playing this for the first time truly enjoy it. This has been a great game. There's a lot of stuff ahead for you to uncover, and that's what we're going to get into. The background video you will see is from the beta, and that's the PvP island or the PvP zone. And once you cross this barrier, you are flagged, so anybody can fight anybody. Doesn't matter what faction, company, anything, doesn't matter. Now, the new raid, the Angry Earth raid, is next to Barnacles. To the left of Barnacles, if you're looking at the Barnacles docks, you cannot miss it. The PvP zone is a lot of lost enemies, so take your lost ward pots and lost coatings. Now you do see this little ghost kitty here, ghost leopard. That is probably Angry Earth, but majority of the enemies you're going to see are lost ward out here. So not only do you have to watch out for other players, you will have to watch out for the lost ward ghosts that do lightning damage, random lightning strikes, and a bunch of lost enemies that are coming after your ass, bruh. All right, now new players. Some things that I've come across in my streams. I've had a lot of people asking questions. Let me try to simplify a lot of things for you. Now, veteran players, this will not pertain to you. You already know these things. New players, when you're asking about what's BIS items, BIS items don't matter. Your skill matters. Experience matters. Going out there, getting your butt kicked and learning from it matters, whether it's PvP or PvE. You can go and have the BIS gear, the best gear, whatever acronym you want, and you can still suck. You gotta have the experience, okay? So, BIS gear, all you need to know in this game is Enchanted Ward is the ultimate BIS perk. It reduces light and heavy attacks by 4% per piece. Now, if you have 5 of those Enchanted Ward perks, it would be on 5 different clothing items from head to tippy toe. Hey, that's your best protection overall in PvE. Now, PvP, you have elemental aversion. So you have basically Enchanted Ward and you have elemental aversion. That's really, from there, you're going to maybe get some clothes with weapon perks, maybe some refreshing to cool down your abilities, but really weapon perks to help boost your damage. So, it's very difficult to ask, or it's very difficult to answer what are BIS items. Depends on what weapons you're running, depends on what loadout, how heavy you are, what, everything. So, what artifacts you're running. So, it's very difficult for people to answer. And you won't understand that because you're a new player. It's perfectly fine for you to ask that, but it's very difficult for us to explain that. You will find out what gear you want later on. Don't worry about that while you're leveling up. While you're leveling up, do not spend money on really anything, but maybe in your faction when you get to Everfall, first of all, you need to check into the inn. Then you need to go sign up for a faction, do those faction quests, and get that going. That way you can buy basically the boxes to level up all your trade skills. So your mining, your harvesting, your skinning, your logging, and your fishing. Fishing doesn't really matter to me, but all the rest do. You can buy the boxes, take those to the crafting stations, and rank up your logging, skinning, and all that stuff without having to be out there doing it. Does it matter where you buy your homes at? No, you're ranking up, you'll get to end game, and then from there, you can decide and see what your server is leaning toward. A lot of servers mostly are going to have Windsward being one of the best spots to own a home, Brimstone, and then maybe Eden Grove, Brightwood. You'll have to see about your server, but Brimstone and Windsward are, you can pretty much you can guarantee are going to be always having buffs for crafting and weaponsmithing, engineering. So when you try to create the higher tier weapons, then they will always pretty much have buffs going. Now, as we look at learning the game, it does not really tell you much about honing stones, coatings, and ward pots, and food, trophies, things like that. So when you own a home, you can then hang up your trophies. So your trophies will include combat trophies, harvesting trophies, and crafting trophies. Now, there are a lot of different trophies underneath all three categories. Now, combat trophies are going to help you do more damage to whatever enemy type you put a trophy up for. All right. The green trophies are going to be 3%. The blue ones be 4%. And the purple ones will be 5%. If you have 3 homes, you have 3 trophies. That would be an extra 15% damage you'll be doing to enemies. If you had the last tier, the purple tier trophies, it would be 9% extra damage if you had the green trophies, 12% if you have the blue. So look at getting those trophies. You do not need the purple insanely expensive trophies. Only people who need those trophies are hardcore PvEers that do speed runs and score runs with an actual team. Other than that, you do not need the purple trophies. It's a waste of money. The blue ones will be, let's say, a couple grand. The purple ones will be around 20 grand, okay? For 1 more percent times 3. Don't do it. Honing stones and coatings are not really explained well in the game. Honing stones are going to give you a percentage increase. All you do is take 1 before you go into a combat situation, whether it be PvP or PvE. And it'll give you like 5% boosted damage, 7%, 6%, that kind of stuff. So make sure you can craft those at the forge. Now it would take death modes and fire modes. So as you rank those up, you'll get the higher tier honing stones, and that will help you do some damage. Now, coatings, you will take a coating if you do, let's say, dungeons. You will take an ancient coating if you're fighting ancient enemies. You'll take lost ward or lost coatings for lost enemy dungeons. Now, some dungeons have 2 different type of enemies, so then you will adjust through there. Now, while you're ranking up, leveling up, you do not need coatings, okay? You're really maybe not even going to need honing stones, but if you want to go with the common ones, that's fine. Don't waste your money on anything else. Now, a lot of new players do make a mistake of not trying out the PvP or OPR. I've talked to a lot of OPR streamers, and not a pretty good majority, but there are some that were hardcore PvEers, and the PvP track for artifacts forced them to play OPR and wars, or try to join a company and all that stuff, and they ended up actually falling in love with the PvP and the combat, and now that's what they stream. Okay, so you don't want to miss out on something that you may think you might not like, but the combat system is really good in this game. It's different than all other MMOs, and that's what keeps a lot of us around. So please try out the PvP, whether it be 3v3 or OPR. Maybe try to get good enough to get in wars. That is something you don't want to miss out on. Okay, I went 3 years playing this game. I've never done a war. I've only done 2 invasions for, protecting areas from the corrupted invasions. Those are really fun. Okay, I look back on that and like, man, that's a whole side of the game I never learned. I never got into it, and I still don't know about wars, like exactly what's going on in there. I'm not that dude. So I'm learning that now here going forward, especially with the company I'm with. Now I got to earn the right to participate in wars. You got to be a certain skill level. So to be able to get to that skill level and participate in that, you need to play OPR and 3v3s, 1v1s, and grow your skills. The fastest, I got this question a lot, the fastest way to level, what is it, Bebop? I mean, you're the greatest DPS player out there. Can you please let me know? I mean, they say that every day in chat nonstop. Let me just be honest here. Let me be humble, baby. But let me be honest, baby. All right, the fastest way to level is MSQ. There's no secret. Stop clicking on videos. That's clickbait about fastest leveling ways you don't know, blah, 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 blah. Main story quest, dude, go do it. If there are any side quests right next to the main story quest, you can feel free to do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna come out them trees and slap you in the face. Another thing that a lot of people get confused about is gear. Okay, is this gear good? Is this gear good? Well, it depends on what you're doing. Okay, I will say this right now in the most basic way: PvE gear is totally different from PvP gear. PvE gear is different from PvP gear. Do not mix the two. Now, if you wanted to get in PvE dungeons, let's say M1, M2, and especially time you want to get to an M3, you need to know what enemy types you're facing. You need to have your honing stones, coatings, food, to boost your attributes. You need to be able to know your weapon inside and out. And you also want to know the weaknesses of the enemies and what your weapon does the most damage to. And that will help you gem accordingly and get your weapon prepared for doing the most damage or tanking the best or healing the best. So when you get in dungeons, never wear, and I mean never wear, and listen up, bruh, never wear regenerating earrings. Now, earrings will have a perk on it called regenerating health. It's like 0.50 health per second. That is a PvP earring. You wear that in a dungeon, you will pull aggro from all the mobs off of the tank onto you. You will die and then blame the tank for not holding aggro when you're the big dum-dum and you wore a regenerating earring inside when Bebop told you not to, bro. What are you doing out here, bro? Another thing in dungeons is when you are on the open world and you're playing with the bow or musket or blunderbuss or whatever it is, when you're in dungeons, melee is king. PvP, totally different. Do whatever you want. Spin circles on your head. I don't care. In PvE M3s, I will say M1 and M2, you could do whatever. I don't care about those either. But in M3s, you do not range bosses. You melee bosses. Stop going range on bosses. You're making it harder for everybody. You're making everything take longer, and you will not enhance your skill level. Ranged at times on certain bosses are acceptable. Very rarely. You will find those out later in my mutation guide. Now, you're going to be like, well, I'm getting killed every time I go in there to melee. Yeah, we all did until we learned how to do it. And then you can get through those fights way faster, and it's actually easier when you learn the mechanics. So, in the M3s, which is a very specialized group of us, it's very difficult. Average players cannot do M3s. So, if you want to go to that level and really push your skills, there's certain things that work and there's certain things that don't. The same way in wars. You go to OPR and you're doing good with your freaking twinkle toe life staff or whatever it is that you're using, you're getting kills or whatever the hell. It doesn't probably match up with what works in wars. Same thing with M3s. What you do in an M1 and M2 probably won't work in an M3, so don't bring your Ice Gauntlet Flail combo in there thinking you're going to do damage. You're not going to do trash, but get annoying and you probably get kicked. There's very few things that work. We all know what they are, and you will learn those. And once you do, you'll have an exciting time in M3s, and hopefully they start making higher gear score stuff drop from M3s. A lot of new players are asking, will I have to do PvP in this game or can I just do PvE? That's a kind of difficult thing to answer, but I'm just going to answer it the best way I can. You're going to have to do PvP if you want certain artifacts. The Greatsword artifact, Nimble Coat, or anything like that that's in the PvP track and only can be earned through that. You will have to do PvP for those. There's no other way to do it. I'm sorry. I wish they had a store that you could buy, artifacts in with some sort of currency and you could do mutations or something else, but that's not in the game. That's not how it works. So get ready to do some PvP at some point. Now, a lot of PvEers or people who don't want to play in PvP will go into OPR and go cut down trees and build up the doors and forts and all that stuff. I don't really care. People can hate on that all they want. The thing is, at least you're trying to do something to help the team, even though, you're not really in combat. Whatever you got to do to get your 3,000 points in a OPR to at least get 3,000 PvP Azoth to go toward your track, do what you got to do, okay? I'm not going to shame you for it. But give yourself a chance, participate in combat, and maybe you find that you might like it down the road. And I don't want to make this video too long. I've tried to go over everything that I've had a lot of questions on here lately. I will be coming out with videos that are basically what I think are really good weapons to level up. I said it in all the videos of the pre-made classes that I went over, you know, what I think are the best weapon combos and all that stuff. So it's really simple. The best weapon in the game is the spear. There's nothing even close. Go spear and bow or musket all the way to level 20 or so. You rank up the greatsword at some point if you want. But really keep the spear all the way through your leveling. You're going to weaken, you know, rend and CC the enemies. It's the best weapon in the game. And I don't ever see that changing, okay? So once you get to the higher levels, you're going to go and access areas that you will be able to rank up all other weapons way faster than what you can do leveling at the low level areas. So if you waste your time trying to rank up weapons by farming these little 5-10 mobs that are only giving you 16 XP or something like that, you're wasting a lot of time. Just level up and then go to the higher end zones where other people are leveling up before you start trying out all these different weapons. Get the spear, get a bow, and just level up. Don't forget to enjoy the game as much as you can. I've ranked up 6.5 characters. The other one was for all the other videos I did for all the new characters. I have a 5-part series on that, everything you need to know. Feel free to check out that series if you got time. But please enjoy the game and your ranking up, leveling up, whatever you want to call it, because you don't ever get that first time doing it experience back again, okay? It comes and goes very quickly. Enjoy the game and enjoy the friends and people you're playing with, because those people won't be around forever. You don't know you're in the good times until you look back on it way later. So, advice from an old man, try to really enjoy the moment while you're living in it, because it comes and goes very fast, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Welcome to New World Aeternum, all console players. I'm truly excited to have y'all. I'm also excited to be back on U.S. servers. My new character will be on a U.S. server. I will be partnered up with Schmeck New World, the best PvEer in the game. Feel free to check out his stream. He's amazing. Also, Andy V. He is one of the best PvPers I've seen out there. So he's always in wars, and he's always playing OPR at night. And there's always a ton of people in his chat asking him questions on builds, and he has the answers to all of it. Also, Dusty. Dusty is going to be the head honcho of the company. He is an amazing streamer, very quick-witted, very smart, young, energetic, and has his shit together. Definitely check him out too. He has a lot of information, always up on the latest info that comes out, and he is always, you know, sharing knowledge on stream and reading every comment. Same thing with Andy V, and same thing with Schmeck. So feel free to check any of us out. I hope to see y'all in Aeternum. This is going to be a fun ride. See y'all tomorrow. Later.